Hey guys, I have some art to show you today, and I did all this in Procreate as usual. Although you can use any drawing app you'd like. My other favorite aside from Procreate is Clip Studio Paint. But yeah, anyway, today I'm using Procreate, and lately I have been collecting a bunch of Warhammer artwork on Pinterest, and also I've been seeing lots of YouTube shorts about Warhammer, so I've been very tempted to make some Warhammer art. And I have been wondering, how is it that these artists, and I'll put it up on the screen once I'm talking about, how these guys have been able to capture that look of like matte painted metal, like no sheen. It's just the kind of metal that doesn't have any gloss or sheen to them. Like they look very good, like very metallic. It looks very simple. Like I bet it's not at all simple, but it just looks very simple because of the way they've done it. Like it just looks like metal even though it's so simple looking. Like for example, I'll give you like a real life comparison here. Stainless steel. Stainless steel it has a gloss. Like everybody's seen what stainless steel look like. I bet you use stainless steel spoons at home, or like cookware. It's all very shiny. Titanium is also very shiny. It doesn't quite reflect as many darks as stainless steel, but yeah, it's mostly highlights. But titanium is very shiny. But Space Marine armor though, like they still look metallic even though they're painted. Like it's not bare metal, it's painted, but it still looks metallic. Like it's as if the metal itself is blue. And I never knew how to achieve that look. But at the same time, I also haven't tried drawing them. So I guess this video is simply my attempt at drawing some Space Marine armor. And so far, all my curiosity, it's only been in my head. Like I've only ever thought about it, but I've never actually done anything. Like I've never explored by trying to draw them. So the reason I'm doing this today is to finally find out how it's done. No tutorials. I just thought I would go straight into it and figure it out myself. Just so I can say to myself that yes, I actually can paint. I actually can paint painted metals. It's like something to cross off my list, like something else that I can do, even though I don't have a use for it right now, but at least I can do it when I do have the need for it in the future sometime. And when I look at all the art that I have collected on Pinterest, the art of Space Marines, they strangely look different every single time. Like every time I find more art of Space Marines, none of them look the same. Like I find that quite interesting. Like I thought these guys would have like a fixed design and they would all look the same. Like the only thing different about them would be different colors and maybe a little bit of decorations here and there and different paints, different flourishings here and there with the same old basic designs for, let's say, the helmet and the spolders and the chest piece. But no, they actually all look very different with each picture that I collected, that I saved on Pinterest. Like even Space Marines from the same chapter, depending on who drew them, they would have different helmets, which I did not expect. Like they all have the same vibe though. Like it's always the round shaped helmets, always with the same type of eyes, although some eyes are pointy, like triangular, like straight up, and the other ones have curved eyes. Some eyes look angrier and some eyes look more passive, like a poker face type of eye, like set of eyes. And where their mouth parts should be, some of them have grills and some of them are like covered. And all these things I never noticed while I was just enjoying Warhammer content on YouTube until today, until I started noticing them because I started studying the Warhammer art that I find online. So for the helmets, I found two types, two helmet shapes on Pinterest from just looking at all of the Space Marine art that I've saved on my board. So there's this one type that is shaped kind of like a jet pilot's helmet. You know, like the helmet, they look round, right? They look rounder than the second type, but yeah, anyway, they look round with like just thick stuff where their ears should be, just sticking out the sides, like they're jutting out. I don't know what they're for. Maybe they're for hearing, or maybe it's for like sucking in air, like because it's connected to the mouthpiece in front with like a tube. But yeah, that's the first type, and the second type is the one that looks more like if you take a capsule, like medicine, like a capsule, and you just sliced it in half. That's pretty much the second helmet shape, and I have no idea which one's which, like which one's accurate, which one's not, which one's worn by who, which ones are modern, which ones are classic. So I just decided to draw them both, and I thought I would have been able to just collect a bunch of Space Marine art, because they all would look the same, and I would just use all those as reference. Like I can just take one helmet and then I just draw that one time, and then I can just make another version with just different colors using the exact same line art. But no, because they all look different, I guess now I have to draw the like two different helmets. So before coloring, of course I had to sketch out the helmets first, and I made only 2 at first, although this ended up being 3. Like I didn't make many, because by the third I already figured out how to draw painted metals. So they were all done by looking at all of these references I collected from Pinterest that I attached on my Procreate canvas. And I didn't want to make a lot, because each of these Space Marines, each of these artworks that I found, they all look different anyway. So I thought like, well, if they're all different, I don't think just copying the way they look from what I see is fun. You know, I'd rather make my own design, because at least then I will be using shapes that I personally like. Like I wouldn't just be copying someone else's drawing, because that's just not fun. Like to do that all the time, it's just boring. And after painting the green one, the green helmet, I learned that it really wasn't all that hard to achieve, like this painted metal look. It all started looking like painted metal once I painted over a lot of the line art. And maybe it's because of the brush I was using, which was this rough brush with some texture to it. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to use the brush, there's a brush pack called Stone. And mainly I use this one brush called Patience and Stone Pen. It's on my Gumroad store. It's supposed to make everything you draw look like stone, but I find that it also works nicely for metallic surfaces as well. So in my life, I have been quite observant, especially lately these days. Like I realized I actually have some visual memories in my head of what metal is supposed to look like, what they're supposed to look like, and especially metals that are like worn out or rusty or like damaged. Cause like I would get these memories in my head of like my house gate, or like a metal pole that I kept seeing whenever I would like walk with my dog, and it had some rust on it, and it was painted too. So I guess I kind of know like what painted metal is supposed to look like. It's just everyday things like that. Like I never even knew I had these memories until I decided to draw these helmets. They all sort of just came back to me, you know, like my brain sort of just pooped out these ideas. It just went like, hey, you remember that metal pole that you used to pass by? Yeah, it looks like this, you remember that? And also that house that you used to pass together with the dog, like it had rusted metal all over. Like the house had like a canopy, but it's all rusty, you remember that? And my brain just kept telling me those things, like I just kept remembering things. And like in that one case with the rusty canopy, like I thought at first the metal beams there in front of that house that I kept passing by, I remembered thinking those beams was of a different material than the ones at my house, because mine had no rust on them. But no, they actually turned out to be the same material, the same type of metal. It's just that theirs was rusty and mine wasn't. So I guess I could compare the two and see the difference between what rust and no rust would look like coming from the same type of material. And so all of these memories I had of just metal, I just implemented into these drawings. And yeah, they very quickly started to look like metal. And I have another example, by the way, and this is for those of you who never go out. You probably stay at home, you've got a kitchen. So I used to cook with a carbon steel wok, and that wok was naturally blue, but after cooking with it for about a week it turned black. And it wasn't like a uniform type of black, but it's more like a colorful type of black with different patches of just like dark brown everywhere. It's quite hard to explain, but if you use a carbon steel pan or wok, then you should know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I know what that looks like, so I guess you can have a look in your kitchen if you have one. And I don't use carbon steel anymore, I use cast iron. I think it's better. I think cast iron also, it never looks like it's got different patches of color all over the place, because like the entire cast iron pan always looks just pure black. But the texture of cast iron is quite cool. It's this uniform, like rough texture. It's kind of like watercolor paper. And after cooking with cast iron, not knowing what it feels like, I started to remember all the black colored metals I've seen in my life, like the kinds that are heavy and rusty. And I started to think, wait, were those also iron? You know, and I think iron just looks strong and feels strong, and it inspires this feeling of durability and weight and thickness. So I made sure to add like a little bit of that iron texture to the red helmet, because the red helmet looks tanky, like it looks like it's made for someone who's utterly huge. And by the way, don't you think the design of this red helmet, looking like a capsule sliced in half, it just looks more intimidating than the green one? And I think it's not just because of the Darth Vader looking mouth thing, you know, like I think it just looks more like a tank than the green one. Although I do prefer the green one's eyes compared to the red one, because those eyes just look very 90s, you know, like they came up, it seems like they came up with that one design back then and just never changed it until now. And I'm a big fan of designs that never change, because also the idea of a legacy being created with one design, with the design itself never changing, it just sounds powerful. So just simply that one like piece of design that they kept until today, it just feels powerful to me. It really belongs in one of these Space Marine helmets, like it just belongs there. It's better than the visor. Like it's supposed to look like an unstoppable force, you know? And finally, the last helmet, the third one that I drew after the red one, this one's, we have the Titus helmet, the Metrian Titus. I looked at his helmet on Google, and I had it open on my laptop screen in front of me, and I drew this on my iPad on my desk while looking at my laptop screen. And I wasn't looking at this helmet from this specific angle, because all of the angles I saw of this helmet I found were all generic and boring, and I didn't want to feel like I couldn't draw like one of these helmets from any angle besides the front and the side. So I went for this one angle I just came up with. It's just like from the side bottom angle looking up, and I think this ended up looking quite nice. And I think I had enough practice from the previous two helmets, you know, the red and the green one. So Titus's helmet ended up looking the best out of all of them. I think it just looks smooth and refined, whereas the red one looks like raw iron. You know, it's just heavy looking and chunky and just rough. Like getting headbutted by this helmet, the red one, it will not only deal onto you like blunt trauma, but also like a lot of nasty scratches because the surface isn't smooth, it's rough, you know? And also the grime all over the helmet and paint transfer with just this white stuff that you see. And the bullet marks, it just makes it look like this helmet's been through a lot of shit, you know, like, which is cool. Yeah, I think now that I've satisfied my curiosity, I guess I won't have to worry anymore whether I can actually draw painted metals. And I learned a lot from this, even though it's just rendering helmets, you know. I think you should do this too. Like, I know I do dark fantasy art, and it's just cool to be able to paint every single time instead of sketching. But I promise you, when you sketch, just like what I'm doing, you will learn so much. Like, even if you're drawing something else that's outside of your current genre, you will be able to take what you've learned from sketching. Like, for example, I just drew Space Marines, even though Space Marines are sci-fi because it's mechanical. Like, it's a mechanical suit, right? Like, robot suits are sci-fi. Although the entire Warhammer universe is like this mix of fantasy and sci-fi. But yeah, it's mechanical, which doesn't belong in my world, which is dark fantasy. But yeah, I can still take the knowledge of painted metals over to my genre, which is dark fantasy. My own world building project called Persevera, which you can check out in my channel too, by the way. And that's going to be it for this video. And if you liked the video, check out all the other videos in my channel. You can commission me on vegan if you'd like. You can also download my brushes in my Gumroad store. I have a couple of free ones in there you can check out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.